Thanks for tuning in to the World XP podcast. If you're enjoying the content, please drop a sub, drop a like, and let us know your thoughts below in the comments. Also, please consider supporting our podcast via the link below. It really helps us out.
RJ, welcome back, man. It's been a minute for those listening who didn't remember first time. RJ, I think you were on episode, oh, let me guess. I'm gonna say 28. Is what I'm gonna guess. 28 or 29. I don't know. It was forever ago, but you're back, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Cannot complain. How about yourself?
Not too bad. No complaints here either. No complaints. So, for those who maybe didn't watch the first one, you want to do a little mini intro or bio about yourself, and then we can jump into it?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, I am a professional actor. Still on my journey in the acting game. First episode, we basically talked about what I was in, and I was in Coming to America, as well as WandaVision and numerous other projects as well, mainly as a feature background artist, and just on the journey right now.
So I think you were at home. Yeah, you were at home the last we were talking right before this. You were at home because COVID was happening and
Exactly.
things like that. And then so you're back in Atlanta now. So what's been going on? What's been the journey like? Run us through the last however long, 2 years, whatever.
So it's interesting that you said that right there, because actually I'm back home right now because the journey led me back home for a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but so I at the end of 2021, I went back down to Atlanta. Had big aspirations of taking that next step in the acting industry. And once I got down there, I did a couple part-time jobs. I got into a couple small background roles and things of that sort as well. But my whole focus was, hey, I want to get an agent. I want to get an agent. So I was looking through agencies, I was submitting, and my thing at that time, and my mentality was, all right, let me get an agency. Really doesn't matter who it is, but somebody that can give me work and really try to build this thing up. So I found this one agency. Um, I auditioned for them. They liked me. They signed me. Problem with them was I didn't get any work from them.
How does the process work of you going to find an agency and then them signing you? Because it's not like you auditioning for a specific part. So
Right.
what is the criteria for you and when looking for an agency? What are they looking for in their talent? Like walk through the whole process of you're an actor and you need an
Mhm.
agent. Like how does that work?
So basically, there's a couple ways of getting signed to an agency. One way, of course, is through your work. You can represent yourself for a while, and then as you're working, as you're doing your thing, somebody can find you, and they can be interested in working with you and taking you to that next level. Or you can audition or submit for agencies, and then they'll probably have an audition or a reading that you have to do. And then from there, they'll decide, hey, we want to work with you. We see your potential, da da da. Or maybe, they'll suggest something for you to do, like take a little bit more classes or just, get a few more film credits or things of that sort. But that's basically how the process goes.
So how does the audition or reading work? Because in my head, I'm going back to like high school English class and we're reading through some Shakespeare play and it's like, all right, you be this person and you be that person and it's like titled and it gets to your part and you haven't been paying attention at all. And you're like, hey, what and to be or not to be? Like, so
Yeah.
how does it work? How does it work in the professional acting scenario? Like what is it a blind audition? Like, do you know what you're getting into? Is it a scene? Is it like what is it? Or I guess or I guess it probably depends on the agency, but
Yeah,
what are the
that's
different
exactly what I
sort
was
of
about to.
yeah, so what are the different sort of scenarios and how do they work? Like once you get to the audition part. Well, I guess we can go for how does auditioning work generally for actors?
So basically, depending on, the audition, depending on if you're doing it for agency, if you're doing it for a project, more than likely you'll get sides. So sides are basically a piece of a script, and then you read or try to memorize. Like if you're doing a live audition, it's good to not like totally memorize it. Like it's good to like have most of it memorized, but they still kind of want to see you reading through it. Like you don't know it 100%. But like when you're doing one that's like on Zoom, like I did, they may give it to you right then and there, and then you try to learn as much of it as possible, and then just try to bring out the emotion. Um, or you can try to learn it all. And I mean, like, it just really depends on who you're like auditioning for, honestly. But, I just know some advice that I saw before is like try to know most of it, but don't look like you know all of it kind of deal. Because
Why?
I don't, that is a great question, honestly. That is a great question. I guess they want to see you, in your natural element of, still learning to process your character, still trying to figure out how you want to play your character and everything. You're confident, but then like you're still trying to figure out exactly how you want to do things, I guess. Like me personally, how I want to do it, I want to know it all anyways, you
Yeah.
know, because I mean that just makes the most sense to me. That's just a piece of advice I got before, which, of course, like I heard them, but to me, I think knowing, what you have, like it just looks more professional to me personally, but you know, everybody has their different ways of doing it. But yeah, for the agency at least, I got the sides right then and there. I had no prior knowledge of what I was going to read or whatever, and then I did it and just try to bring out some emotion, and they were feeling me, and we wound up doing a non-exclusive contract, which thank God we did a non-exclusive contract. um Basically, of course, saying that I'm with them, but I can leave at any point. um Especially if like any other agency or anything better came up. And also they could drop me at any point too, which I was totally fine with. But through the whole process, I didn't get anything through them. It definitely, looking back at it, if I could have done it over again, I would not have signed with them just at all. Because I didn't really see them representing anybody major. She said that she had basically the experience in the industry and everything, but honestly, anybody could say that. You know, anybody could say that, try to look credible and all of that. She tried to say that she got people in certain roles and parts and things of that sort. She was also trying to say that there wasn't really anything in Atlanta at one point, and I was just like, that's a lie. That's a lie. Everything is being shot down there, so that's a lie. She was trying to say New York was the spot, and I'm not saying New York doesn't have things going on. They obviously do, but anybody in the industry knows New York's more so known for theater rather than film. The two biggest film locations right now are LA and Atlanta, which I think Atlanta at this moment is number one at this moment. But that's because of course, the little tax credit and everything in the industry and all of that. But yeah, so at that point, I was just like, okay, all right. I tried still to, get some roles through them. They submitted me a few times for different things. I just didn't get it at all. And it was weird to me too, because usually a professional agency, they would want you to have certain things ready to go. So certain photos, they might, even get you hooked up with a photographer to do photos or anything of that sort. But they might want you to have certain photos ready to go. They might want you to have a monologue that you recorded for yourself and have that ready to go for when they submit it to people. There's all of that. And it felt like I was doing that myself, but then it felt like they were really pushing me to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a whole thing. It felt like mad and professional, honestly. So that was them. And technically, if you look on their website, I guess, or whatever today, they still got me up there, but I'm not a part of them anymore. Um, thank God, honestly. And then the other thing that happened last year, there was a point where I was working at Nike, And I was just like, dang, I'm really trying to like do something else as well to like, just build up funds a little bit more so I could do some other things down there in Atlanta. So, I was in the process of getting a second job, and then I saw a couple of opportunities acting wise. I was like, oh, snap, this is what I wanted to do. This is way better, anyways. This is exactly like this is my profession. So, I'll say this as a piece of advice for everybody listening. If you're going to do this acting thing, don't trust all these casting websites at all. They might sound like they have good opportunities. They might even have a couple legitimate opportunities on there, but there's a lot of scam opportunities as well. So, unfortunately, I got involved with a couple of those unknowingly. There was this one casting website. I cannot remember the name, but it really doesn't matter. Just know that if it's not Actors Access and if it's not Backstage, I wouldn't do it. Or IMDb Pro. Those are like the three that I would do. If it's not none of those three, I wouldn't even get involved with it.
So
Um,
let's take like a quick step back, because how would you go about finding work, right? People who are, well, for lack of a regular people, you see
mhm.
on Glassdoor or Indeed, or you go to a company's website and they've got the careers page and you upload your resume, and then you probably won't hear from them. But if you do, then you do the interview and then you get hired. So like, how does it work for like if you're sitting in your apartment, you're like, you know what, I really want to look for a role right now. How does that?
Mhm.
How do you look for like? How did you end up in the position where you're even on those casting websites in the first place?
So yeah, when I was initially doing my thing back in 2019, I learned a few websites to go on to continue getting work. Actors Access, it's a website where you can find speaking roles. Some of them are paying, some of them are not, but you can find those speaking roles. I mean, you'll find roles all the time for like, I don't know if you know any of the shows like Fatal Attraction or any of those shows, but like you'll find roles for that all the time there. You'll find roles for like Tyler Perry on there. You'll find roles for like, you'll actually find a lot of random roles on there. They got a lot of stuff from LA, New York, Southeast region, including Atlanta. Um, honestly, just all around the world for real. But yeah, Actors Access is very legitimate. It's good. Everything on there, I believe, is vetted and looked at, and it's just a really good. A lot of good opportunities on there. So basically, with that, you would upload your photos. You would, upload some videos, and you would put your sizes on there, and like what your shirt size is, pant size, all that stuff. And whenever you submit for a role, you would submit photo, video, and then your size card, and then just hope they will hit you back up for an audition. Got a few auditions from them, and I didn't get those roles, but I still got the auditions though. So they're really a legitimate site, and I believe like if anybody's really trying to pursue acting, that's definitely a good site to invest in. It's like it used to be 60 a year. I think it's now 9.99 a month. And then it costs money, of course, after you upload your first photo and first video on there as well. But that's something that, especially if you're representing yourself, like it's a good site to go on. Um, what was the other one? I said Backstage. Backstage is really well known by a lot of people. You can find a lot of different things on there from theater to film, TV, different roles on there from background roles to, speaking roles and things of that sort. Um, but that's a good one as well. A lot of people in the industry love Backstage and using people from Backstage. And then, of course, IMDb, excuse me, IMDb, they that's where a lot of people, of course, look up, movies and who the casting and everything of that sort. And they have their own service where you can get roles and things of that sort through them as well. But if like I said, if it's not one of those three, I wouldn't do it. And I did one that wasn't those three, and they had, again, some legitimate opportunities on there, but they had a lot of fake opportunities too. And that's why I didn't get that, other job when I was in Atlanta, because I was just like, oh, I got this opportunity about to happen. It's paying pretty solid, you know, why not do this? So it went about just like how any other opportunity would go about, honestly. At first, everything seemed pretty normal. Submitted size card, submitted monologue, maybe of myself, and photo and everything. Um, and I was like, all right, cool. I got the job, got the role. That's great. Then they had me submit a couple other things. That was fine. But then it was weird because they sent me a check. And I'm just like, all right, I didn't do anything yet, but okay. So they would send me a check and they would want me to put it in my account and then pay somebody through Zelle, like, who, whether it's like hair and makeup or wardrobe or anybody of that sort, which I'm like, why do I have to do all of this? I'm just the talent. The talent usually does not have to do all of this. Like, what's going on here? So, at that point, and I'm gonna take it a step back. When you're doing something like of course, when you're moving, make sure you have enough funds when you move, but also make sure you have enough funds so with whatever you're doing, you don't settle for any opportunity that comes your way. At that point, I kind of needed the money, you know? So when I saw the money and saw the opportunity, it sounded good. I was like, all right, cool. So that's why initially I was just like, all right, let me try to submit this check. I'll do whatever they ask me to do, and I'm gonna do it. And biggest sign that I was just like, all right, this thing got to be fraudulent, was when my bank came back to me at that time and said, this is a fraudulent check. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. We can't, process this check at all. Which, I was just like, okay, that's weird. Why would they send me a fraudulent check? Again, just nose wide open, thinking this is a legitimate opportunity. I think they said the project they were doing was going to be on Netflix and things of that sort. So I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, that's how they'll try to get a lot of people, honestly. But so that happened with one opportunity. Another opportunity came, same thing happened with that other opportunity. And I was just like, dang, man, what is going on right now? What is up with all these fraudulent opportunities? The one that really got me was this opportunity for, what they said was for Chime. I was just like, all right, cool. Chime, we all know what Chime is and everything. I was just like, all right, that sounds good. Um, and then as I was, doing everything, getting everything set to do the role, it's like, it's crazy. Same thing happened again. But they were just trying to tell me, no, this is a legitimate check. It should definitely process through your bank. It might be your bank or whatever. Since I already ran into that problem before with some of these other, opportunities, the bank was like, look, we got to stop doing business with you. Which, looking back at it, yeah, it probably did look shady because, all these checks were bouncing. Which at the time, though, I was just like, I was mad at the time, of course, but and I'm the victim the whole time because I'm not thinking these are fraudulent checks, but
Yeah.
they weren't. Um, just not really moving too smart, honestly. But you live and you learn. So I switched banks. Um,
Did they? I mean, they let you like withdraw all your money and all sorts, right? They
oh,
didn't. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, that was not a problem. So I switched banks. And then the people were like, yeah, no, this should definitely work out. There should be no problem with this. I was like, all right, cool. Like try to get in there, try to submit it, and the bank was saying the same thing. It was just like, nah, just check. There's something wrong with it. At that point, I was just like, all right, I'm done. I cut off all like, business relations with them and everything. I was done. My mistake was giving what I felt like was too much information
Mm.
because I'm thinking, oh, this is a legitimate opportunity. All right, cool. Let me read through this document. All right, looks good. I'm gonna sign it. Boom. Then I signed another document. I told them that they could, try to submit on my behalf some of these a check. And in the document, of course, I told them, look, I'm gonna need it in writing that if anything happens, I can take y'all to court and this and the other, all that. So that's what we did. Um, and once whatever happened, I was just like, all right, I'm not even taking on the court. Like, they didn't take any money from me or whatever. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just done with it. Dealing with you guys. I'm not even playing around with y'all no more. Source some information up and everything, thinking I'm good. And because of that, I decided, all right, let me take a step back from everything. I need to reassess some things and make sure that I'm doing everything for the right reason when it comes to acting. You know, what I want to do is entertain. That's something that, I felt deep in my soul that I actually wanted to do. Like dealing with all that, it made me realize what I actually want to do with this thing. And it was like, it's crazy, man. I got a new opportunity up here in Virginia to like finance my stuff so I can, go back to Atlanta and actually be legit this time with everything. And in March, I was at Target, right? Just did a transaction with Apple Pay, everything was fine. And then I get to the car and it says my Apple Pay has been disconnected or whatever from my card. I was just like, that's weird. It says contact my bank. So I do that. I call them up. I'm like, what's going on? They were saying that you let somebody go into your account and submit a check. I said, no, I did not, which I didn't. But apparently somebody was able to hack into my account, which I'm thinking, looking back at it, it's these people I was dealing with.
Yeah.
So they were able to hack into my account, try to submit a check, and try to like go through Zelle and like give money out. Thankfully, I had a certain amount in that bank, but it's still a good amount that I lost. Um, just again thinking back at it, it's just like, dang man, that's crazy how that happened. But yeah, we were able to, identify who it was and everything. Or kind of identify who it was. It was just like an email address, could be anybody, using that email address. But yeah, they were telling me that the money's a loss though, because it went through a third party in Zelle, which, I'm here. I heard a few times before with Zelle, that's a problem with like linking your Zelle to your bank. That if anything were to happen, it's on you in a sense because you
Yeah.
use this third party. So, advising everybody to be careful with Zelle as well. But yeah, nah, it's just a big learning experience over the past like couple of years, honestly. And I'm thankful for the opportunity I do have up here right now, working with the government at the moment. But and it's also going to really set me up for the next move acting wise whenever I do move back, which I'm planning on moving back early February next year. Um, but yeah, it was just like a whole thing where I'm just like, okay, it doesn't matter what opportunity is presented. You got to make sure one, is legit, two, that you're good with the opportunity that you're doing, three, that you're just doing it all for the right reasons. You just got to make sure that everything you do, you're doing it for the right reasons. And you got to make sure everybody you're working with is legit. You got to make sure that if you're going to sign again with the agency, make sure they got people that they're representing that are known You know, if you really want those opportunities, you got to go with those agencies where somebody's repping somebody that's actually successful. I wouldn't play around with those lower tier agencies unless it's somebody that has connections like that and they have proven connections like that. I would not mess with anybody that's lower tier. Um, but yeah, just a lot of learning lessons. You know, a lot of time of growing in wisdom with this whole industry, and yeah, just I'm just thankful that I'm in the place that I'm at right now. And as you know, and I know the listeners don't know, but as you know, over the past few months, I've been releasing monologues because I want to keep sharp in my skills, and I want to continue just to get better and better each and every day. So I've been releasing monologues. At first, they were monologues I was finding online, and now I'm releasing monologues I'm actually writing myself. Been filming them, trying to make them almost like a short film in a sense. I actually have one coming out. I know the day of this recording, what is today? The 31st of July is the day we're recording this. Not sure when this is gonna come out,
A week
but
from next week, a week from today.
okay, a week from today. Okay, cool, cool. Um, but August 1st, I got another monologue coming out on my Instagram. So definitely you know, stay tuned for that. For anybody listening, of course, the Instagram is RJ Cuffee. I'm pretty sure that he'll have it in the description and
Of
everything.
course.
Definitely check it out. But yeah, that's just something I'm doing just for myself, just to continue to keep myself sharp and also just to entertain people, just to have some fun with this, like I should have been doing in the first place. And
Yeah.
yeah, when I go back to Atlanta, it's not all about the money this time, It's about the passion to really do this thing. And it doesn't matter if, opportunity is paying or not for me. Of course, I would like the opportunity that pays, but the opportunities that don't pay as well, those are good as well. So you have stuff in your portfolio for whenever you submit. So, and you have credits on your resume as well. So, yeah, I guess the overarching lesson to all of this is make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate in and make sure that money is not the biggest motivator because that can lead you down a path that you don't want to go down at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That feels it's a good monologue there. Clip that.
Hmm.
Um, so
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna I I would guess that you've already beaten yourself up enough about that. But
Absolutely.
if I'm you, I'm just
Hmm.
trying to think like I would have made connections with the people at WandaVision, Coming to America, the other stuff that you were in before, and like at what point are you to be like, hey, you guys know of any roles or anything like that, or even just to ask like if anyone had heard of this website as well.
Right, right.
Were you socializing this with people, or were you already by the time the
So
first check went, you were already like in it, and you were like, oh, I
in
don't
it,
know if I'm
yeah.
getting scammed, but I feel like it would be embarrassing if I told somebody. Like, is that where you were at?
Yeah, so just like you said, on those sets, I did make a few connections. One of them being one of my best friends now, who's an artist named Squeeze. He's a rapper out of Atlanta or out of Boston, is in Atlanta right now, doing pretty good and is performing like monthly for sure, like or every other week, something like that. But he's doing his thing down there right now with this academy called the Playlist Academy. Anyways, I met him on Coming to America, and usually whenever I brought up an opportunity, he was saying legitimately the same thing I was already, was telling you guys right now, and that just, make sure that it's legit, that it's worthy of your time, and that everything is good. Which at the time, I mean, I heard him, but I was just like, nah, it's got to be legit. It's got to be, through this casting website or whatever. Like, I'm thinking, yeah, and I saw like legitimate opportunities on those websites. I'm like, nah, it got to be good. And yeah, just I don't know, it's just me being stubborn, just thinking that I found something for myself. I guess there's also that situation with the agent as well that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I was just like, I guess I got to do this for myself. So I was trying to find something, and like I said, when money's the motivator, because you may, I don't know, freaking be a little low on funds or anything of that sort, will make you want to pretty much do anything. Not anything, but pretty much anything that's gonna, help you try to progress to that next level that you want to get to. So, but yes, I do have some connections with people, and I'm tapping into it 100% when I go back down, like through everybody that I've met. Because I have a good relationship with a lot of people that I've met along the way as well. Um, you know, it's again, it's a journey. It's definitely a
Yeah.
journey. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna connect with some people. I already have some things in progress for when I do come back. Some people I'm definitely working with and things of that sort. So it's just all about me getting back to Atlanta. But um, but yeah, yeah, I have some things in motion.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good to hear. But the crazy part about that is struggling actors, I feel like, are very, I don't know if needy is the right word, but that's an easy group to scam because a lot of them
It is.
do not have money and they need money.
Right.
Um, and I'll, well, I'm going to generalize, but I don't mean it in like there's a good amount of people who are who are trying to act who are, I'll say more selfish, self-centered in nature. Maybe egotistical
Mm-hmm.
is the right word. And so when somebody
Mm-hmm.
comes along and is like, "Look, I've got this giant check for you," and to a person that doesn't have any money who thinks that they're great, it makes it, yeah, that's an easy target group for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fucked. Have you seen oh, what the fuck is the guy's name? This dude on YouTube, he's got like millions of subs and all he does is go after these scammers. Let me see if I can find his name. Scammer Payback, maybe? Is that the guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scammer
First of
Payback.
all, I love that, man. I love that because there's way too many scammers out here.
Yeah,
Way
so
too many.
this dude will like, I don't know how he gets the calls or how he finds the calls, but basically he'll mess with them and he's super like computer savvy. So he'll go back through the IP into their computer and start messing with them.
Absolutely.
Um and dude, some of them are hilarious. Like when they find out that they've been made, dude, it's so funny. I wanted
Yeah.
to binge watching him for like a couple weeks and then I was like, all right, it's the same thing every time. It's like I don't need to watch 27 more of his videos. But yeah, like
Right, right.
that's a whole real thing. So the guys that make the reels for me now, they're in India, and that for a while I was like, uh I was sketched about it, but
Right.
they've made like 80 reels for me now.
Hmm.
And the payment's gone through and it's been secure. And I was asking people and trying to do, and I messaged like I went on their page and I messaged a bunch of accounts that they had worked with to like to figure it out to be sure because I was like I'm not about to get myself scammed because I want to have somebody make short form content for me. One, because like
Right.
I can do it, but I'm not good at it, and also I don't have the time.
The time. Right.
Um, well, I do have the time, but I would get burned out if I
Right,
was
right.
doing it all myself. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Like the world of the internet makes things tough to figure out because it's so easy to fake stuff now. It's so easy
Man,
to fake
what?
stuff, and you can
Yes.
spoof and you can like just edit HTML to make a web page look different than it is, and everything like that is nuts, man. It's nuts. So,
It is. It
um,
is.
damn. Yeah, scammers are good at what they do, man. That's the annoying part. There's some ones who are not very good at it, but
Right.
like the ones that are still in business, they're in business for reasons because they're good at what they do, and it's hard to catch them for sure.
Right.
Um, but fuck, so okay, so you're back in Virginia, and then in the meantime, right, you're doing the monologues and things like that. How are you when you say things in progress? I know obviously you can't give too many details away, but
Yeah.
what how are you going about basically making the return where it's going to be sustainable this time?
Right. So, you know, basically, like you mentioned before, doing the monologues and everything, but also just continuing to tap into my network that I already have in Atlanta. Making sure, well, one, they're already putting my name out there for me. I don't even, and that's a blessing in itself. When you meet good, genuine people, I mean, that's the stuff that they do automatically, anyways. But just tapping into the network I have down there. Um, Also planning on doing some type of classes as well, just to keep me sharp. But yeah, just doing that, just making sure, and that's huge. I also want to point that out. Having a good network is literally everything, and that's in any career like that you do. Knowing somebody can literally get you into the door, especially if you present yourself well. Always make a genuine connection too, because when you try to force that, people one can tell, but two, it's not gonna go anywhere if it's forced. So make sure you just make that genuine connection, just talking to people, just showing love to people and being positive and doing the little things, man. I mean, and that's genuinely, of course, who I am. So that's how I've been able to make a good um, good connections and I have a pretty doggone solid network so far. Look forward to meeting more and more people, but like that's just gonna come over time, and I'm not really too stressed about it because of that. But but yeah, honestly, just make sure just anybody going in the industry, like make sure you have a really good network because again, that's gonna lead you to some amazing opportunities. And presenting yourself well, making sure you have a good first impression at all times, people will always remember that.
So how you're an actor? You got tips
Mhm.
on making good first impressions?
Like I just said, biggest thing I've always done, and I didn't start out doing that, but thing I've done since I've learned and taught myself because I went to this one like it was like this like networking event in Atlanta. This was back in 2019. I think it was like in November or October, one of them, something like that. And as I was at the event and everything, I felt like I was forcing, all the conversations that I was doing. I didn't feel like myself there. So at that time and at that moment, I was just like, nah, forget that. Like, let me just be myself, no matter where I go, just genuine and just see how that goes. That's worked out even better. That's how I have connections with people. That's how, people still want to lock in with me, even if I, may not have spoken to them in a while. They remember that impression that I made on them from just being myself. And I know it's a lot easier said than done because a lot of people really don't know how to comfortably be themselves. But if you can,
Or they don't like themselves too. That's
or they don't like themselves. Yeah, facts. That's facts. So when you truly like love yourself and really get comfortable with who you are, that's when like the magic really happens. Like that's when you're gonna meet those great connections and you're gonna do great things because people see how genuine you truly are and the heart that you actually have behind the things that you do.
Yeah, 100%. People can tell too, like even if you trying to even if you're trying to kind of small talk is never super comfortable generally.
Right, right.
People and for me personally, people who are good at small talk, I immediately am like red flag. Um, but but at the same time, that there's a necessary skill to like icebreakers and small talk to get into as people that stay on small talk. But if you can break the ice, that's where things are good. But also, like you said, you have to. I say this often on here. It's like if I'm if I don't like myself that much, how am I gonna like somebody else or love somebody else? Like
Mm,
it
that's it right there.
because nobody wants like a if I don't like myself and I'm running around trying to help somebody else, but I'm miserable because of the person who, like, the person that you're the closest with is you. So if the person that you're
Hmm.
closest with, you're always fighting with yourself, then how are you going to get anything done? It make like
Right.
just generally speaking, like if you're always like battling with yourself about various things, like, oh, I hate about this about myself, or I hate that about myself, and like some of the stuff it sucks because you got to look in the mirror and and have the battle, but then you have to resolve it. You can't keep running away from it because it'll always find you because you're you. Um,
Right. Right.
and then there's some stuff that you can change and other stuff that you can't change. Like I really hate that I'm so pale and I can't walk outside in the middle of the day without getting fried. It's not fun, right? But I know I can't change that about myself. And
Right.
also,
Right.
but also, I don't let it bother me anymore because like I've been called every pale joke in the book. Like, dude, imagine getting called bioluminescent, bro. It's like it's not good,
It's not
right?
good. You're
Right,
right.
right. But I'm saying like when now I make all the jokes, so it doesn't
Hmm.
it's fine. 'Cause, like you remember when you're in middle school or high school or whatever, and somebody makes it like you want to hide all the stuff that you're not happy with about yourself or that you're insecure about. Like I used to
Mm.
not um like changing on the soccer field when I was in middle school because I was like, oh, I'm so pale, people make fun of me, blah blah blah, and I don't care anymore because I've heard all the jokes and make all the jokes about like the lights will go out on the field and I'll be like, look guys, I'll change and the lights will be back on, right? And it's like you do it first and it's fine. But it's
But on
learning.
that point right
Yeah, yeah,
there, isn't it funny, like when we were younger, the things that we were so worried about?
yeah,
Like it's so minuscule in like the grand scheme of things. It's just like why were we even worried about that stuff? And then it's just like as you get older and older, you start caring less and less about like and at first it's just like when we were younger, we heard that as you do get older, you start caring less about the little stuff like that. But like it's legitimate. Like
yeah. It's for real.
and when you get older and you start to really love yourself.
Yeah,
Got to put that in there too. But when you get older and you start to really love yourself, all that stuff really doesn't matter. Like at all,
yeah,
all those insecurities that we had, because I had mad insecurities too in high school, man.
yeah,
Shoot, I felt like my whole high school experience was ruined for me because I didn't get PT like that, like I thought I should have.
yeah,
So I kind of ruined my whole high school experience because of that. Now a lot of people would be like, "Nah, what are you talking about? Man? Your high school experience seemed great." I was just like, "Not for me on the inside, at least." You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
yeah, insecurities, man. Like they'll bite you in the butt, but like once you start really like loving yourself, who you are, what you're about, and everything of that sort, then those insecurities start to go away, and you
yeah,
start really not caring about that stuff. So
yeah,
when you said that, man, that just made me think about that. I was just like, heck yeah, man, heck yeah,
yeah. It's more being secure in yourself. Like there can be parts of you that you don't love,
right.
right? You can have qualities that you're like, oh, I need to work on this or I need to fix this, but it's like it's like I'm good with who I am as a person.
Hmm.
But the reason we care when we're at that age is because we don't have perspective one, and we're trying to fit into the broader society. It's like it's like we're leaving home for the first time and trying to fit in for the first time in our lives. We're trying to fit in with a peer group rather than our family or our parents. And so we look at
Right.
when we look at what the peer group is doing, and we kind of measure up like, okay, a lot of people seem to like this person, and so I want to try to be like that person so people like me, not understanding that that phase doesn't actually like it sucks when you're in that phase, but
Hmm.
not understanding that that phase is everybody trying to sort out the same things. Nobody knows who they are when they're 13, like at all.
Mm.
And so
Right.
when you walk down the hallway and there's a bunch of people at somebody's locker and you're like, wow, what are like people like them? What are they doing? It's like everyone's trying to figure out who they like also. So
Hmm.
it's not that that person is great. I mean, sometimes they are, but
Right.
everyone else is trying to figure out what they like in friends. So
Right.
they
Right.
don't know also, right? They like you're going off another 13-year-old's judgment, which is not good at all. Like,
Nah,
you
nah,
know what I
literally.
mean? It's like when you watch a bunch of 13-year-olds go to one 13-year-old and be like, they're so cool. It's like, are they? Like to another
Right.
13-year-old they are. But
Right.
so like that's the thing that sucks, is because you have no perspective or like there's nothing for you to compare it to, because this is the first time you've been like in the world.
Right.
And that's why we do it, and it sucks. And like all the adults will always say the same thing. It's like it'll change when you're older, and for all of human existence, it's never going to change, just because it's the development of, it's like the socialization of you as from like a child to becoming an adult. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's part of the shitty process that you go to, and then you should, when you grow out of it, that's when all the growth happens. Like when you grow out of it, obviously the growth happens, but it's when you grow out of
Right.
it and you start to realize like, okay, that didn't actually matter. Nobody cared that every single person wore fucking cargo shorts with Sperry's and polos like
Nah,
in high school.
facts. That
Like
was a
nobody
whole
cares.
thing,
Yeah,
man.
it was and
In
it's
elite socks. You forgot the elite
yeah, and
socks.
the elite socks, of course. Like everybody wore the same thing, right? And I
Yeah.
my my parents didn't want to give me the elite socks because they cost too much money, and I was like, that makes no sense. And now I'm like, I just wear fucking socks. Like socks are socks, man. You know.
Yeah. Nobody
Um,
cares now.
yeah. And then there are things that like, and also there's a difference between looking presentable and just following what everybody else is doing. Like it used to
Right.
be, you care too much about your appearance. It's like, no, you should care about your appearance. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go out, right? It goes back to the first impression that you were talking about earlier. Like if you look like you're homeless, then you're not gonna do well in the job interview. But if you look put
Right.
together, then it's different. There's and understanding the right level of being put together. Like if you go into a job interview and you're where I don't even know, wearing like all bunch of designer fashion stuff or whatever, like nobody, but if you got a nice suit that fits you well and like it's put together, like you're good. But that also you
Absolutely.
don't go over the top either, because that's not like, that doesn't make a good impression either. So
Right.
I don't know. It's all part of the life and growing and all sorts, man. All sorts.
Just
It's
trying
good
to
though.
understand. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fighting with yourself though is the most like, there's parts of you that you don't like, and you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, we, me and you need to change this part of us. And that
Right.
sucks because you got to like basically tear down a piece of you and then rebuild it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard.
Do the
It's
work.
hard to do
And
it.
that's
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't want to do that work on themselves, you know?
Well, yeah, it's hard. It's fucking
Yeah,
hard.
it's tough. It's tough. Right. Right. But you do that work, gonna come out even a better person, the person that you were purposed to be,
Yeah.
and great things start happening, honestly. So
100%. And you had one slap you in the face with the checks, and like that's not, that's that let you know that external event made you think of why you wanted to act in the first place, right?
right,
So
right.
you had the self-awareness to be like, this sucks. I could go into this hole and just be like, oh, I can't believe I got scammed, blah 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 blah. No, you looked yourself in the mirror and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this, and how did I get into this mess in the first place? And that
Hmm.
is great that you did that.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. That's one thing that I've definitely developed over the years is being very self-aware and trying to do that work on myself at all times, trying to figure out, okay, why did I, like you just said, why did I get in this situation? How can I come back even better and stronger than before? Man, in the moment, it really sucks. It hurts and everything, but like you got to get past that. You know what I'm saying? If you're really trying to do anything, and that's again in any industry, you got to get past that. So that's what I do. I just make sure I pray. I make sure I just lock in and just try to be better going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, here I am thinking again. I never was one to really have an ego or anything like that. So I'm gonna put that out there too. But I did
Except
start,
for playing time.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
That's okay. We all do. We all do.
exactly. But that's the competitiveness in
Yeah,
us, you know what I'm
that's all
saying?
athletes. That's all athletes.
Right. But like again, did I let the previous I was on TV and movies get to my head? Not really. But at the same time, I did have an expectation for myself. And with that expectation for myself, I let certain things and the fact it was the expectation for myself and the fact that finances weren't exactly where I wanted them to be.
Mm.
That was a big motivator to even get into any of that stuff in the first place. If finances were straight, I think I would have been a little slower in getting that stuff. I mean, that stuff, but then again, maybe not because my mentality at the time, my mentality was different last year than it is this year. You know,
Yeah,
maybe I had to learn this lesson to
yeah.
understand. Okay, this isn't right. I don't need to be messing with people like this, or I don't need to be on a casting site like this. Just lessons that I may have had to learn either way.
Yeah, that's good for like it's a growth mindset. Are you in the everything happens for a reason camp?
I am. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, there you
yeah,
go. There you
yeah.
go. You take it and learn. All right. I know we don't got
Absolutely.
much time left, but you being a well, I don't even know what they're called now. Commanders. You being a
Yeah,
Commanders fan. So I guess the team is the sale official yet?
it is official.
What? All right. Thoughts?
Long time coming. I feel like a dark cloud was lifted off the franchise once Dan Snyder officially sold the team. Um, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it yet on social media or anything, but you can already tell the energy is different around this area with regards to the team. People are trying to go to training camp and they're trying to be there. Kevin Durant was literally just there a couple days ago. That wasn't
Oh, for
happening
real?
when yeah. That wasn't happening when Dan Snyder was in office. Nobody was trying to really come to training camp or anything of that sort just to be around the team. But you had KD come through. You have a lot of fans packing out the stands, which we have stands at training camp now. We didn't
Yeah.
have that before. Like it was, I don't know if you've ever been to Redskins / Commanders training camp, but it
A
was
long
usually like
time
a
ago.
right. But what did you do? You had to bring a seat for yourself, right?
Man, I don't
Or
remember. I
you
was
just
like
said,
8.
okay. So yeah. But anyways, you had to bring a seat for yourself, or you had to sit on the grass, or anything of that sort. Now they actually got stands for people to sit in. They actually are making upgrades to the facility. Not sure if they're staying at that facility in Ashburn for long, but because I heard they might be moving the facility. But you see things slowly starting to change already, and there's already an expectation for greatness going forward. I mean, when you have new ownership group that's led by Josh Harris, who of course is the Philadelphia 76ers owner, uh, who has Magic Johnson a part of it, which every team that he invests in is a winner, especially the Dodgers. And a few other people who are investing into the team who are very financially savvy, but also people who want to have a successful brand, in whatever they invest in. So you can already see just like mentality is different, and we're not probably not going to even be the Commanders for long either. I already heard that we might be switching the name next year.
You should go back to football team.
Like I don't know what it's gonna be, but just make it better than the Commanders. Honestly,
Yeah,
I was not a fan.
that was a horrendous choice. They should have just stayed as
Yeah,
football team.
I would have rather that than the Commanders. A hundred
Yeah.
percent. A
Like
hundred
I say
percent.
that as a joke, but also that makes it original and kind of a cool thing a little bit.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Commanders was a horrendous choice.
It was. And that was just a choice that I believe Dan Snyder was just like, all right, we'll just choose this for now. We'll just roll, the brand out and everything. It doesn't even seem like there was much thought into a lot of things. I mean,
No,
shoot, even the mascot, I mean, I understand why it's a hog and everything for the hogs back in the 80s and everything, but like the mascot looks terrible. This Major Tutty dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the little things about the team, just I don't know. This was not the greatest brand rollout in my opinion, personally. But yeah,
no, that was no, not no. You don't even have to say in your opinion. It just wasn't.
it
It
just
just
wasn't.
wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, man. It just wasn't. I didn't even know they had a mascot. I just thought it was a W on the side of the helmet. I was like, "What are you guys doing,
Nah,
man?"
we have a mascot. When I saw it, because I was there,
Unbelievable.
I was at the game where they revealed who it was, and I was just like, this, this is our mascot. Like, yeah, I was flabbergasted. Man. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna use flabbergasted in this instance because that's exactly how it was. Like,
That's
bro,
a very strong
that was
word.
exactly. But yeah, man, it was trash. Honestly, it was definitely trash, and I'm just looking forward to having a competent franchise because you growing up in the area. you know how the perception is of the Commanders. I mean, they're a laughing stock. You know, a
Yeah,
lot of people joke on them all the time. Oh, the Commanders, they're not gonna do nothing. Like that is the mentality. And this was once a franchise that won 3 Super Bowls from 83 to 92 in that time frame. And everybody was just like, "Oh, this team is a great team, great run franchise and everything." Then once Dan Snyder bought it, just went downhill. He's just like he didn't really care, you know.
he was more
So
concerned with cheerleaders than football.
he was more concerned about a lot. Exactly. 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 So
Unbelievable. So, what are your thoughts
yeah.
for the season then? Like, I don't even know who's on the roster anymore. I haven't paid zero attention. I know that Tyler Heineke got traded, I think, or the quarterback. But you guys
Mm-hmm.
have, I don't, is Wentz still there?
Mm-mm. No, we got rid of Wentz as well. Sam Howell is probably going to be the starting quarterback. Of course, Sam Howell came from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Is he a rookie?
yeah, no, he's in his second season. He
Gotcha.
was just backing them up last year, just trying to learn the system and everything. But he did start week 18 versus the Cowboys, so and he won the game. So um Sam Howell, like he's a beast, man. Honestly, like in college he was a beast. Now we're gonna see how he does on a professional level, but like the intangibles, the little things like that he has in his game, he has the potential to be a good, solid quarterback in the league. I'm not going to say a superstar or anything of that sort, but he has a chance to be a very good Kirk Cousins level quarterback. Which, if you have that in DC with everything, like with the receiver group that we have now, with the running backs are decent. We could add another elite back, but with the running backs and just the group that he has around him, with the defense that we have, which should be top five this year, you know, you can actually do something with a team like that.
So the
So
roster is kind of in play. You guys haven't made a lot of moves this offseason, have you? Or a lot of big ones, anyways.
not a lot of big ones in terms of bringing anybody big in other than our draft picks, which our draft picks, Emmanuel Forbes, the cornerback, he broke the NCAA record for most pick sixes. So, like, you got a ball hawk like that on one side of the field now. We got another DB named Quan Martin that comes from Illinois. He's very active on the football field for sure, just in all aspects. So, you bring in guys like that to add along to a defense that was already in the top 10 last year, even though we didn't even play our best last year. I don't think personally we did. You get Chase Young back fully healthy finally. So you have all of this going on. I feel like this season, in my opinion, if Sam Howell plays really well, I think we're 10 and 17. If he doesn't play well, I think we're still like an 8 and 9 team.
Talking
So
playoffs though, probably with the way
10,
that
10 is yeah, 10 and 7, I believe that's playoff team in the NFC specifically. Like AFC is ridiculous right now, but like
I
the
know we're
NFC,
we're screwed.
yeah. Cause remind me, Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
shoot, man.
Kenny Pickett
Well,
might take a step or two, but like the Bengals are really good.
yeah.
And there's a lot of good teams in the I mean the Chiefs obviously, and so that's good. That's good. It'll be interesting to see kind of what happens. Like I almost forgot that it was 17 games now when you said 10 and 7. And
Yeah.
then it's
I know
just
it's weird to say. Weird to
it is
say.
weird. Like you used to have it like when you would play Madden, you would have it,
Hmm.
oh, I'll be 11 and 5 this year. And it was just every like 15 and 1, 14 and 2, you had the whole spread just memorized. And now
Right.
to have no 8 and 8, it feels weird.
I know. Unless you tie a game, then you could be 8-1. But like, yeah, it's definitely weird. It's
Yeah,
definitely which I think that was our record last year. Actually, I think we were 8-1. But yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah, it's
Well,
definitely
look at
crazy.
that. We are an hour on the dot.
Yep.
I know you gotta get out of here, but and you plugged the Instagram already. RJ Cuffee, right?
Yep. At
RJ
RJ
Cuffee.
Cuffee. Yep.
Any last nickels for the people?
Yeah, just anybody listening, again, just stay positive, stay focused on your goals and dreams at hand. Make sure that whatever you do, find a purpose in it. Don't just do it. Don't just go to work day to day, just being like, oh, I'm just at this job. Try to find a purpose in doing it and like really try to do it to the best of your ability. If you do that, you try to, improve each and every day as a person, just and try to like, be a positive light on somebody else's life, like great things are gonna happen for you in your life. So yeah,
100%. 1% better every day. I heard somebody
that's it.
say, the other day, like, to ask yourself, when's the last time you actually tried your best at something?
Right,
It's like, damn, his deep. It's different when
right.
it's athletics because you given everything you got, but in life, like, when's the last time you tried your best at a thing? And I was like, oh,
Mm,
yeah,
mm-hmm,
1%
mm-hmm.
better every day though. 1% better every day.
That's it.
100%.
That's it.
All right, guys. Link to RJ's Instagram will be in the description as always. Um, and you can go find out all the rest of the info from his page if you're interested. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Right.